Okay, Oak Rovers, this is a video that's going to help you with Standard 7.4.1.2 and the MCA III Test Prep packet. And the standard reads this: describe the impact that inserting or deleting a data point has on the mean and median of a data set. Know how to calculate data displays using a spreadsheet to examine this impact. And number one says this: use the graph to answer parts A and B. What is the mean of the data set is what part A says. Show or explain your work. So if I look at that display, it's a bar graph, and I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit, and it looks like they have the months January, February, March, April, May, and June on the one side, and then they have sales in millions on the y-axis. The months are on the x-axis, and the sales in millions are on the y-axis. So I have to find out how many sales were for each month. And if I look at the graph, it looks like January has 4 million. February has, let's see, 7 million. March is 8 million. April is 12 million. May is 13 million. And June looks to be 16 million. Okay? So I'm just going to zoom back out so you can see the answer in the question here. Okay? So I zoom back out and it says, what is the mean of the data set? Show or explain your work. So the mean, the way I find the mean is I add all the numbers up and then divide by how many numbers. So the mean, add all numbers, and then divide by the number of items. Okay, and there's 6 items here that I'm adding up, and I'm just going to add them up. So if I use my calculator, I'll go 4 plus 7 plus 8 plus 12 plus 13 and plus 16, and that's equal to 60. So the mean is going to be 60 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 divided by 6, and I can do that in my head. 60 divided by 6 is going to be 10. So my answer for part A is going to be 10. Now the next one says this, part B. What would the mean of the data set be if each number in the set were increased by 72? Show or explain your work. Now I could do that a couple different ways. So each of the numbers is going to be increased by 72. So what I could do is I just take the original set of numbers and add 72 to each one of them. Or I know since they're all going up by 72, my mean is also going to increase by 72. Since every number is increasing by 72, the mean will also increase by 72. Well, let's just add them up. Let's just add 72 to each one. So I really have 76, 79, 80, 84, 85, and 88. Okay? So now if I add all those numbers up, so let's go ahead and add those numbers. So I'm going to just go plus, 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 and divide it by 6. So let's put those in my calculator. 76 plus 79 plus 80 plus 84 plus 85 plus 88. And that's equal to 492. If I divide that by 6, I get 82, which is exactly 72 more than my first number. It's kind of easier. If they ask you to show your work, it's probably easier just to, rather than explain that, it's just easier to add 72 to each of the first numbers. Okay? We're going to go on to number 2 now. I'm going to slide it up here. And here's what it says. What happens to the following set of data if the value 89 is added? Okay, so let's look at that. So if I'm going to add 89 to that, what would happen to that set of data? The mean increases by approximately 4.4. The median increases by 4.5. The range increases by 46. The mode stays at 56. Well, in order to do this, let me first get all the numbers in order from smallest to largest. So it looks like if I look at my smallest number is 43. My next one I have is 45. My next one is 46. My next one is 50. Then I have 56. And then I have two 67s. Well, my mode of my original set of numbers isn't 56, so the mode stays at 56. That's going to be out. I can cross that out. That's for sure not going to be an answer. So I'm just going to cross that out because I know that's not an answer. The next one, the range increases by 46. Well, if I add 89, I got to find out what my range is first on the original set of numbers. So the easiest way to do that is 67 minus 43, and that range is 24. Originally it's 24, but if I add 89 to it, which I'll just kind of put it over there in the circle right now. If I have 89 minus 43, now my range is 46, but the question says the range increases by 46. It didn't increase from 46 when it went from 24 to 46. It went to 46. So you've really got to read these questions carefully. The range is not increasing by 46. Okay. The median score. The median score, that's the next one, by 4.5. So if I take my original set of numbers, there's 7 of them. 1, boom, 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 boom. My original mean is 50. Okay. Or my original median is 50. And if I add that number, my median is going to be between 50 and 56. If I have an eighth number, my median now goes boom, 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 boom. And it's going to be between 50 and 56, which is 53. Did it increase by 4.5? No. So I'm thinking that's not going to be it either. So now let's try the last one. So I think I've crossed out those first three, or the last three. Now I got to check and see if the mean really increases by approximately 4.4. So let's find the mean of the original set of numbers. So type them in, 43 plus 45 plus 46 plus 50 plus 56 plus 67 plus 67. So make sure I have those numbers typed in right. And if I add those up, I have 374. So I'm just going to write that number down here, 374. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I divide that by 7, I end up getting about 53.4. Okay. Now, if I add that 89 to it, I'm just going to take that 374 and add 89. So I'll go 374 plus 89, and that's equal to 463. So I'll take 463, and now I have 8 numbers that I have to divide it by. So I divide that by 8. Divided by 8 equals, and now it's going to be 57.8. Well, that's about, if I find the difference in that, if I find the difference between 57.8 and 53.4, it really does increase by approximately 4.4. So I'm going to circle letter A for that. So it does increase by about 4.4. Okay? Number 3. Shelley needs at least 95% average in her English class to be nominated for the English Award. Her scores are listed below. What does she need to score on her last essay in order to average 95 in the class? So if I look how many tests she's had so far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's going to have 6 total grades. Now, in order for it to have a 95 average for those 6, what I can do is I can take 95 times 6 scores and find out what the total number of points she has to have in her in her essays and tests, or 6 essays and tests that are graded. So 95 times 6, that's going to be 570. So she has to have 570 total points in order to average 95 points for the whole thing. So let's see how many points she has so far. So I'm going to add all these things up, 99 plus 94 plus 96 plus 98 plus 93, and I'll see what she has so far, total points. So she has 99 plus 94 plus 96 plus 98 plus 93, and she has 480 points, it looks like. So that's 480, but she has to get 570 total. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 570 minus the 480, and I know there's a 90 difference in that. So she has to score at least a 90 on her next test in order to get the score that she needs. We'll go on to the back side, and we'll go down to number 4. Number 4, use a set of data, answer questions 4 through 6. So it says, what's the outlier in this set? The outlier is the number that really doesn't fit the other numbers. And here's my set of data right there. All these numbers are all pretty low. They're all less than 10 except for the 17. So the outlier is really going to be 17 for that. Okay? And then number 5 says, what's the mean of the data set without the outlier? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all the other numbers besides that outlier and find out what that is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So just add up all those numbers. So I just have to go and add all those numbers. 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 5 plus 9 plus 6 plus 8 plus 7 plus 5. And that's equal to 56. So I'll take 56 and I have to divide it by 9. So 56 divided by 9 equals, and it's 6.2 repeating. So that should be 6.2. Okay? The next one. What's the difference in the range between the data set and the data set without the outlier? So I have to find the difference in the range. Well, the lowest number I have is 4. So the data set, my biggest one is 17 and my smallest is 4. So the difference in that is 13 if I subtract that. Now if I take that 17 out of there, my biggest number is 9 and my smallest is still 4. So I have 5. So the difference between 13 and 5 is going to be 8. So that one will be 8 for that problem. Then we'll go over to the next one. Which number, if added to the data set, would affect it the most? Well, I can tell just by looking at that. All the numbers are kind of between 9 and 24 except for 1. So the one that's going to affect it the most is going to be 67. I don't even have to go ahead and do that. I just know that that's 67. All the other numbers are within the range, but the 67 isn't within the range. If I found the mean of that data set, it would be really close to all those other ones. The number that's furthest away from the mean is going to affect the data set the most. And then the last one, let's see what this says. Craig took two tests and got 75% and 80%. What does the score have to be on his next test for the median score to be 80%? So what's the middle score? So he has 75 so far and an 80. Now, in order for the median to be 80, my score has to be above 80. If it's 75, my median is going to be 75. Any score over 80% is going to be the correct answer. Any score less than that, and 75 will be my median. Any score between 75 and 80, and then my median is going to stay the same. So it's got to be any score bigger than 80. So letter B is the answer for that question. And that is the standard 7.4.1.2.